Hey guys, welcome to the tutorial on Kiss Pores. We first start off with our formulation. I'm going to give you everything you will need to make this recipe. I'm going to give you some fragrance oil suggestions, some colorant suggestions, some equipment suggestions, but if you would like to follow along my recipe, feel free to use this recipe. And sometimes people ask why we give formulations in percentage. That is because my mold might be a different size than your mold. And if I give it in percentage, you can alter it to any size batch you want. For a kiss pour, ideally it works best in a slab. You do not need to buy a fancy slab mold. This is a 6x6 mold from Brambleberry. You can even use a box, a cardboard box, and line it with freezer paper. I've done that when I haven't had the materials or the equipment that I've wanted or needed for a design, but these do work best in a slab mold. First things first, I always suit up for safety. These I got on Amazon. These are arm protectors. I have my goggles on. See, I typically do a 1-to-1 lye water ratio, but for this particular design, I want a little bit more time to be able to work. So having a slightly higher water concentration, but not too high, allows me to cut down on soda ash, but also have a little bit of time to work. All right, guys, so now it is time to get my fragrance oil ready and my colorants ready. I wanted to talk about fragrances a little bit because for this particular design, you're gonna want something that decelerates or at least does not accelerate your trace. And I prefer to work at slightly lower temperatures. So if you're used to working at 120 degrees, you might want to take it down a little bit. That way you have some nice work time in order to complete this design. This is my go-to, at least my current go-to. So if you've never ordered from the Scentsational Soap Supply, this particular scent is amazing. It works all year round. It's not just a winter scent. It's not just a Christmas scent. It's a really nice kind of citrus plus mint, really bright, crisp. It does not discolor or accelerate. So I've written this right on the bottle, so when I'm looking and I'm preparing a design, I can see right away. I don't have to look back in my notes. So this one is the one that I'm going to be using today, but there are some other ones that would work really well. Love Spell. This is from the Midwest Fragrance Company. You can also get it from Brambleberry. You can get it from Nature's Garden, Nurture Soap. I think there's a lot of other carriers because it's a popular scent. This one does tend to decelerate. So this is a great option. And from Brambleberry, if you have this one, Rose Gold, this works really well as well. It does discolor slightly. So just keep that in mind with your colors that you are wanting to use, but it smells really nice and does not accelerate your trace. Now colorants, these are the ones that I'm going to be using today. Feel free to use these ones if you'd like, or just use whatever you have on hand. So this one is from Nurture Soap. It's Cornflower. Zero Gravity from Mad Micas. I love this. It's black but also has a nice glitter. Okay, next, Fired Up Fuchsia. This is from Brambleberry. It is a really nice neon pink. Pow Pow Purple from Mad Micas. Twilight from Mad Micas. Okay, so the basis of this design technique is having two pitchers filled with different colors, and then you're pouring them together, and the streams of soap kiss as they go down into the mold. So at this point, you're going to want to choose which colors you want together. I have 5 colors, and I'm also going to have white, so I have to decide which ones I want in one pitcher and which ones I want in another. And just a tip, if you are very easily overstimulated at trying a new design technique and you really get overwhelmed, make sure you try to cut down on your visual clutter. So pick up as you go. So if there are paper towels that can be thrown away, if there are dishes you are no longer using, if there are things that you can put away, that will kind of help you and ease any sense of overwhelm at trying something new. So that's just a little tip. All right, guys, so we are ready to get started. I have just taken the temperatures of my lye solution and my oils, my base oils, and they are both at 87 degrees. So I'm going to stop here. I could definitely blend a little longer, but I'm going to be blending a lot with my colors. I am going to add the fragrance directly to this entire pot instead of the individual color pictures. Break this up into 2 separate buckets. This is going to be a little mind-bending here, so stay with me. I'm going to measure how much batter I have. I have a little calculator here. I have 1676. And then I know that my pitcher is 126 grams. So I subtract that. I have 1550 divided by 2 because it's going to 2 separate buckets. So I need 775 grams per portion. We're going to fill up these. Pitcher's worth is complete. Now I need these. I'm going to take my stick blender and just blend each of these for just a couple seconds each. So in order to get roughly the same amount in, I count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want the same amount, you can do that. If you don't care, it's no big deal. All right, now it is time to move to the other pitchers. Our 2 pitchers that are ready to pour. Thinner trace is gonna look different. It depends on what look you're going for and what happens with the soap as you're making it. So if you are working and it just solidifies, just go with it. If you need to alter course midway, that is fine. But here we go. I'm just going to take these pitchers, put them together, and let them kiss on the way down. This is a little bit thicker trace. And I tell you what, after a while, your arms start to feel it. You can remain in one area, or you can move around like this. It just depends on what look you want. Each option makes a really cool design. So I'm gonna stop there because I have as much in here as I'd like. I'm gonna tap it down and I'm gonna leave it for 24 hours. Because I have a higher water content in this one, I'm gonna let it sit. Okay, so it is the next day. I did spray this several times with 99% isopropyl alcohol, which is just rubbing alcohol. You can get that really at any place that sells rubbing alcohol. It's fairly easy to find. And so here I'm just breaking the suction. That's basically all I'm doing. It's ready to unmold. I'm being gentle yet firm in trying to release this from the mold. There it is. Nothing too spectacular on the bottom. But if you take a planer and after you cut them into bars and you want to plane a little bit of that off, you'll get more of the design. So there's many different ways you can cut this. I just use a large non-serrated knife and I'm cutting it into 4 equal pieces because my mold was 6 by 6, but depending on your mold shape and your preferred style of bar, you could really have a lot of different variations in how you want to cut. I love that with the kiss pour, there are points of interest no matter which way you kind of look at the bar. There's really thin, wispy lines, and then if you moved your pictures around, you get more swirl kind of on the top rather than lines. But it's neat from the side and then from the top as well. I love the design. These bars definitely could be cut into smaller pieces because they are so large, but I just left them. And then to cut the kind of grooved edge off the top, I used my multi-bar cutter to get a nice smooth finish. You could definitely use a knife. I'm just not as proficient with a large knife and cutting the soaps and getting a nice straight line. So I use that, and then here I have my planer. You can get these on Amazon. They're really not expensive. Then this is a beveling tool from Creamy Obsession. If you want to purchase one of these, I think Marina still has them on her website. They are amazing. There's different options, and I love the different variety. Or you can also bevel with a veggie peeler. I just wanted to show you a couple different options for finishing up your bars. You can also steam them with a garment steamer if you want it to be a little shinier. So here is the end product to the batch that I made. I also share some soaps from other makers from our group that were kind enough to share their pictures of some previous kiss pours that they've done. Just goes to show it's the same technique, but it can come out differently with each pour, which is really cool. This one was shared by a maker in our group to show how acceleration will alter the look of the kiss pour. This one was an accelerating fragrance oil. This one she shared was of a decelerating fragrance oil that kind of muddied the look. So deceleration can be a blessing and a curse depending upon which design you're going for. If it slows things down too much and then you pour, it can definitely muddy a design. And this one by the same maker as well, the coloration kind of changed differently than she had planned. And it just goes to show that all these different variables can create a different result than maybe you were planning originally. And thank you so much to all of the makers who helped to supply these pictures for our video in order to be a teaching tool to help others who maybe haven't tried the kiss pour or would like to try a little different element, maybe some different colorations or moving the pictures around while they pour. I hope this was inspiring and I can't wait to see what you make with this design.